Hey Cougar fans, Carter Gledhill with another Coaches Weekly with head men's basketball coach Steve Kollar. Coach, it's been a tough stretch for your team, dropping games this week. And last night you had a game against Lakeland where you had the lead in the first half, and there was a stretch in that second half where you weren't able to get anything going until the later part of the game. Ultimately fell to the Muskies by 1 point. What is this stretch shown about this team, or where does there need to be improvement after last week's success that we saw?
Sure. Yeah, it is a tough stretch. You know, you don't have much time to practice. You're playing every other day. The guys love that, but when you start to have some slippage, it's hard to correct that. And honestly, I think defensively, just getting our edge back. The last 3 games, we haven't really taken people out of what they do. We've been a little bit late on our rotations. But, last night, we played well enough to win, and you just got to perform better in crunch time. In the last 3.5 minutes, we had 3 turnovers. We gave up offensive rebounds twice. And we just got to be able to know and execute what's necessary to finish games at the end.
And right now we're at the end of the conference play with this week and next week as well. And we're talking about right now playing for a home playoff game as well. How do you control any added pressure or self-imposed pressure that players might have upon themselves to try to excel, especially at the later part of the season, to try to make a higher push in the postseason?
Yeah, we basically just talk about it. We've always talked about just controlling what we can control and it being about that day, being great. I know it's cliche, but being great in practice that day, that night, right? Because we can't control anything else going forward. And nothing else matters if you don't take care of business with that present day. So I think they're focused, and we've just talked about this being a special weekend, special day for our seniors, and a great opportunity for us at home. So that's really all we're focused on. It's not that we're afraid to talk about that stuff, but we can't control any of it unless we take care of what's in front of us first.
And you talk about a special day because senior night is Saturday afternoon at 4:15 against St. Norbert College. You have 4 seniors that we're going to be honoring, and I want to go a little bit more detail about each of them. We'll first start off with the transfer. Jordan Matthews came in last year from Loras College and really made an immediate impact on this team. And this year, he's really taken charge as this upperclassman and as a leader on the court. We've seen that around the guys in practice as well, but really on the court, being versatile, dishing it out, but also knowing how to take it inside to the paint, and can also shoot as well. To have a guy like that transfer into your program, what does that mean to you that reflects not only on the team, but the kind of players you're bringing in?
Yeah, well, first off, with all 4 of those guys, there's a couple things that I'm extremely proud of. Is they're all really good players, but they're even better people. And with J-Rock, he's grown and developed so much, whether it be classroom, which all of those guys are over a 3.0, and that hasn't always been the case for him, and his development and his mentality with other things outside of basketball is where he has developed so much. On the floor, he's just a guy that is willing to do whatever it takes. He shared a story with us as a group when we were kind of having an open forum the other day and just talked about what he wants to leave his legacy as is just being a guy that gives his all every single day and is happy for everybody else. Now he does a lot more than that. He's super versatile. He's shooting it well in one-on-one. He's really tough to stop, but he just brings it every single day. And he's an awesome leader because he cares about people, and he's willing to sacrifice his time, for all the guys next to him and making sure they have everything they need. So we're super fortunate with him. He's got an opportunity to come back next year, so we hope that happens as well. But we just want to continue to keep getting better and building, and for him as well as with our other seniors.
And another versatile player is a senior as well as Isaac Rudel, who's really, if you look at his season box stats, really has dabbled in every category possible. Rebounding, threes, offensive rebounds as well. He's been able to do a lot of the dirty work at times for your team when they really need a push. And I remember a couple weeks ago when we talked about him and just the mentality that he brings to the court. And you can see that reflect on other guys on the court as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you hit it on the head. You said versatile. I mean, that's what Isaac has always been. And there was a stretch early in the year when we were struggling where we were like, hey, you're a spot-up shooter right now. And he does that well, but when he limits himself himself there. He limits himself and his impact. But you've seen him leading us in rebounding, 8, 10, 11 rebounds. You know, he's defensively, he's getting up the line, getting deflections. He's making big shots. Last couple of games, he's been getting into his protection plan in the paint, you know, and being able to score. But he's just the epitome of consistency. And of all of those guys, you know, Meeks has been here a little bit longer, but Isaac has been here the entire time. From the day I came in, there was no disruption, there was no opting out, there was nothing. He's been here from day one to now, and he's been the same dude every day. You know, you want to see some fire a little bit sometimes from him, although he's got that edge to him on the floor, but he's just so even-keeled, and he's the model of consistency, you know. And again, another guy that is just great with relationships. He just does it a little bit different way. And again, you know, he needs to continue to step up and keep making plays going forward, especially on Saturday as well.
And you mentioned Jalen Meeks. He, again, coming in his younger years when he was here in a couple of years, he really excelled, and then he had his knee injury. And we've seen him this year kind of take a couple steps back in starting as well as minutes played coming off the bench. But what I've seen is that he's really grown into that and has really embraced it. And it's starting to show a little bit more in the second part of the season in conference play, because now teams have to worry about him inside, worry about his ability to on ball and dribble around and go inside in the paint. But especially for a guy that has had to overcome a lot, especially with the knee injury, and might have not seen his career go that way, he's definitely embraced that and has made it a big part and emphasis on this team.
He has. You know, it's been his multiple injuries as well. You know, in the beginning part, after not playing for basically 2 years, it's about rhythm. You know, do I trust this? You know, and because one of his best things is he's just reckless. You know, he flies around, you know, whether it's challenging shots, when he goes to the rim, you know, we're working towards, you know, some of that athleticism changed a little bit. So now you get to tweak it, play off a 2, but just getting his rhythm and his comfort level. But what's never changed with Jalen, and the main reason that we are super excited of getting him back, is just his leadership and who he is every day. He's as good as there is as a guy, as a teammate. He's awesome. He's taking care of business in the classroom. That kid's going to be successful in anything that he decides to do. When it comes to us, you know, our guys understand that it just whoever is getting it done is who's going to be out there. And if that's a fifth-year senior that's playing at a really high level and starting for us, then so be it. But if they're also having to figure out their role until they're producing at a higher level, then that's how it rolls as well, you know. But he's handled that really well. We need, you know, we're calling it the Final Four that we can control. We need, you know, his 4 best games of his career in terms of his leadership, him doing the little things, and I really feel like we're going to see that from him. But we've been so fortunate to have him, and I've been just blessed to have a guy like him, you know, part of this program when I came in, because he's been so important to building the foundation of our program.
And the final senior, definitely not least, Landon Gladney, the big man inside. And for him, when there's been times where there's been rebounding struggles or post play inside, he's been the guy you've been able to dish inside in the paint, and he will go to work. And it's just that consistency, like we talked with Isaac Rudel. He's been able to do a lot in his time at CUC, and we can definitely see that as well. In those bigger moments, he's a guy that's not afraid to take the shot or go inside and get fouled and go up for an and one.
Absolutely. Same thing with Landon. You know, when I came in as a sophomore, to who he is, he's still pretty quiet, you know, but just how he carries himself, and he would come to my office every day, you know, for a couple of months, and I would just hear him talk about things, and it was just mind-blowing to me to hear how much he's developed. You know, we would always try and get him to talk sophomore year, and he wouldn't really understand it, you know, and he's sitting on my couch in my office, and he's like, I understand how important that is now, and I want to be a vocal leader. And you can see he's just getting better. He's still getting better and becoming more and more comfortable. And under Coach Howard and Coach Malky's, you know, kind of tutelage, all of our bigs, but especially LG, he's developed so much, and he's such a difficult defend from inside and out, and then just his versatility to be able to do all those things, and you can see him taking steps forward. Again, all of our guys, but we need him to continue to take steps forward as well. And I still think he has another level to go to in case he decides to do that. That's a plug, LG. We want you back.
Well, those 4 guys are going to play an important role in this game against St. Norbert College Saturday. Not only because it's senior day and there's added stuff, but this is the first time you're going to be playing St. Norbert College as well as a new member of the NAC conference. So what's it going to take to make sure that the Cougars come out on top this weekend?
I think a big part is just being at home. I think we might be 5-3 or 6-3 at home, so you just got that extra juice. It is tough though because it's different, right? It's not your normal routine. We're going to honor those guys, but our group is so tight that I know that we will be flying around because they will not want to let those seniors down. Those seniors won't want to let anybody else down. But we got to play at a high level. I mean, I think St. Norbert's was preseason like 1 or 2. They just beat one of the best teams in the league. Coach Gresh is one of the best coaches in the country, although we haven't played him here. I've gone up against him previously, and they just are great at running their stuff. They're physical. So, we've kind of shown that we can beat anybody on any given night, but then also it just depends who shows up that night. But I think we're going to get our best group on Saturday.
Well, hopefully that's the case, and I'm excited to watch these seniors come out on the floor and compete in their senior night. Again, Cougars are playing St. Norbert College Saturday at 4:15. You can go to cucougars.com for live stream, live stats, and everything CUC men's basketball. Coach Kollar, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you.
I'm Carter Gledhill. We'll see you next week. Go Cougars.